When I was appointed PSST in July 2021, among the few calls I received first was a very gracious call from Mr. Keith Muhakanizi from his sick bed in Turkey. We had a long and cordial chat, and he congratulated me. And as I said at the beginning of my call here, he actually offered me very, very authentic guidance on how I should take on this job. I wasn't initiated at all for this job. I also just got appointed. But Mr. Muhakanizi is a great human being, because I remember very well the words he told me. I will not tell them here. Some were in confidence on how I should take on this work and how I should transition smoothly. But also he told me that he had joined public service in June 1982. And very quickly he asked me, how old were you by the way? Professor, you know, he used to call me professor. I told him I was 4 years there. And he laughed. He said, you qualify to be my son, but I will give you all the support that you need at this difficult time of recovering the economy and also rebuilding on what we have contributed. So he was a very well-received leader. The Honorable Minister and I had actually requested the Undersecretary, I remember some time back, to organize a farewell party for Mr. Muhakanizi, as it is a culture here for those who have served in higher offices and they were leaving the ministry. But Mr. Muhakanizi kept on postponing this party, because he said, he came to my office, said, you know, I don't think I should interact a lot with people. For now, give me some time, please, and then, but don't take away my party. Keep that budget, and you arrange the party for me when I get a little bit better. Unfortunately, we have not been able to have that party. So I thank very much the team led by PST and the other secretary for organizing this function, this service, in the honor of Mr. Muhakanizi. I know, as I told you, the person who has been here since '82, this is his second home, and he deserves all the recognitions as they have come in from different people who have spoken so far. At the time Mr. Muhakanizi joined public service, as they have told you, there were two ministries, that of planning and economic development and that of finance. And I should say, there was also a lot of fiscal indiscipline in the government. The planners were planning things, but those with the money, with the treasury, were spending on other things. Money was being carried in sacks by those who had come to government in the 80s. And therefore, himself actually told me when Mr. Museveni passed on that they sat in a room and conspired to merge these ministries. They were in planning, but the guys in the finance were doing other things. They said we conspired. The good thing, the president listened to them, and they joined these two ministries into one. That's why it has a long name of Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. There were two ministries. This merger was very critical in establishing fiscal discipline. And with the fiscal discipline, we mean really spending government resources in such a manner that they go the most critical areas. I should say, much as we have this ministry now merged, and planning is informing budgeting to a good extent. Some time back, there was some laxity. The budget was becoming more strong. The budget was not following the plan. And the planners also were putting everything in the books of planning document. And as a result, we had very many critical things not getting funded, and yet the budget has grown, as we all know. And like I say, that the passing of Rukutana, with whom they worked so closely with Mr. Muhakanizi, rebuilding this fiscal discipline and the links between policy formulation, planning, as well as budgeting is still an area that we must work on as government and improve. But I should say, Mr. Muhakanizi, among others, have played a very gigantic role in restructuring the government, restructuring the processes. As director, the former director budget has told you, I think he has given the longest speech today, because I haven't known him to be the longest speaker. But he was bringing that emotional connection that has helped them as the economists who came in to build the new Uganda in those early days of the NRM government. And the new Uganda, we are having it. Uganda has tremendously transformed in the last 3 decades. There are a lot of things we take for granted today because that's all we see now, and we think they're okay. But those who lived in Uganda in the 80s, in the 70s, they know the kind of work Mr. Muhakanizi and his colleagues did, and they have continued to do until they have passed on to reform our country. Due to his excellent performance, coupled with his good core technical and behavioral competencies, Mr. Muhakanizi rose through the ranks to become the PSST. As you all know, I can summarize a little bit of the record which we have on his file here. In July 1988 to October 91, Mr. Muhakanizi was a senior economist in the ministry. And in 91, he was promoted as Acting Commissioner for Macroeconomic Planning Division in the Ministry of Planning and Economic Development, where he served up to December 1992. In January 1993, he was Acting Commissioner but also Economic Advisor to the Honorable Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development when the two ministries have been merged. In April 1995, he was offered accelerated promotion as Commissioner and also Economic Advisor to the Honorable Minister. In September 98 up to 99, September 1 year, he moved to the Economic Development Policy and Research Department as the head of department, or a commissioner there. In October 1999 to December 2004, he was Director of Economic Affairs, which deals, as you know, with macroeconomic policy and planning, including external debt issue, producing economic development plans, among other things. In January 2005 to December that 1 year, he acted as Deputy Secretary to the Treasury, and he was confirmed in December, and he served up to May 2013 as PST. In May 2013, he was appointed PSST, which he served until July 2021. And in July 2021, he moved to the office of the Prime Minister as Permanent Secretary until he died. Mr. Muhakanizi believed his efforts will deliver a better Uganda, as we all know, regardless of tribe, clan, and religion. I believe most of you can bear witness to the continuation of his legacy, both here and also at the OPM. Him together with the Governor Mutegere, among others, I will describe them as arguably the grandparents of the modern Ugandan economy. They endured very many sacrifices to rebuild this country. We are better off today because of the reforms that they crafted and implemented. Until his death, he continued to support me personally. I should tell you this. Very many times people are seeing him walking, coming up to my office. You know, in Uganda, some people find it awkward when a current office bearer is working closely with the former. You hear some whisper. Some even come to me, like a PSST, you see, your predecessor frequenting your office. Are you safe? I said, why? So I think really these leaders who have been around for some time, they are teaching us something different, as especially younger professionals in Uganda. When you have a job, you better keep those who have done it long enough closer to you. They will help you to understand what to do and not what to do, perhaps. I should say that while we mourn with the grief the passing of Mr. Muhakanizi, we find solace in contemplating his venerable character and service. The power of his mind impressed itself on the policy and the transformation of this country. His service to the Treasury and also to the country was extraordinary, not just in its length, but also in the fact that it was devoted to Uganda's interests and her development. I should tell you that he amassed an enormous number of friends around the world. When we were in Washington, D.C. This last week, Mr. Pepe, the director of African Department at the IMF, announced his passing to the IMF governors, who are the ministers of different countries in Africa, as well as permanent secretaries of finance and the governors of the central bank. He requested me to convey his condolences to his family, but also to His Excellency, the President, for losing such a transformative leader who has left a mark even at the international level. I thank you, all of you, Munas, for honoring our invitation and for giving Mr. Keith Muhakanizi for deserving funeral here at his second home, the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. I continue to commiserate with the immediate family, the sons of Mr. Muhakanizi, the friends of Mr. Muhakanizi. This man here, I call him Ben Juanka, not Ben Kavuya. I was among the first people he introduced me to as his friends, and I bear witness that he's a good friend of his. When I was in Washington, we were always on call as he was working with my team to ensure that we give him a good send-off. Thank you very much, Ben, and the entire team for the work we've done, as well as the development partners of Uganda. Some are not here, but they are with us. They have been sending messages, but most importantly, the staff of this ministry that have been nurtured by Mr. Muhakanizi. Thank you for honoring him and being here. And as we continue also with the other functions to send him off, please be there upon our own, because it's our own as a ministry. With those words, I wish Mr. Keith Muhakanizi a very peaceful rest, and until we meet again, I thank you very much.
Thank you so much, PSST.